Here now with me is West Virginia Republican Senator Shelley Capito, who voted against a similar resolution back in 2020. Good to see you, Senator. Thank you so much for taking the time. I wanted to ask you, and we'll start here with your vote back in 2020. You voted against the War Powers resolution after President Trump ordered the attack that killed Qasem Soleimani, saying Iran will only be deterred from future attacks if they know that the president has the full authority to respond if they or their proxies kill Americans. And if this resolution were to become law, that authority would be called into question. My question here is, do you feel the same way now as you did then?
Oh, I absolutely do. I think that President Trump has great powers here, and I think he has expressed restraint, and I think he's also expressed the desire for a ceasefire, for no more killing, for a peaceful solution, and I think that's where he's going to go. But I don't want to take any of the tools out of his toolbox at this point. We can wait and see what's going to happen into the future, but right now I would vote that exact same way, yes.
And I wanted to play a little bit about what your Senate colleague Lindsey Graham had to say about the conflict in the Middle East today. Take a listen to this and we'll talk on the other side.
Yeah, I think the president is doing the right thing. I think we should go all in to help Israel to end their nuclear program. I think the Ayatollah nuclear bomb would be a devastating event for the world. We need to stop it.
The question tonight for you, and I think really that's on everyone's mind, is do you think the U.S. is going to end up in this war?
Well, I think obviously that remains to be seen. I think we're obviously sharing intelligence. We are providing weapons. We have to keep in front of mind that Iran wants to destroy America. They are an enemy of our country and have professed that very loudly and clearly for decades. They want to develop a nuclear weapon, and we must do everything we can, joining with Israel, to prevent that from happening. I think it's premature and I think probably unwise to speculate how deep this will go when the stated desire of our President Trump, is to find a solution that would end this and would have it end with Iran not having a weapon and the simmering down of the hostilities in that area.
And I have to ask you, you were briefed too by the Vice President, J.D. Vance, today. You had a meeting with him also on the big, beautiful bill, and we'll get to that. But did anyone ask him about the current situation in the Middle East and what the president might be planning next?
He did talk about it, actually. He talked as questions, but obviously he's been in the Situation Room for several days as this has been unfolding. And I think he has expressed exactly what I have, restraint in terms of any kind of over-involvement by our country, but certainly that it is in our best interests and the world's best interest, quite frankly, to prevent them from developing a nuclear weapon. We know that there's between Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, there is a coalition here of countries that want to see us in a less powerful position, and we have to keep that front of mind. But that's about as far as he went, and obviously he's very supportive of what the president's doing.
I want to switch gears a little bit here and talk about what's going on domestically and here in your state. At least 7 people are dead from those flash floods that started over the weekend. The search and rescue recovery efforts are ongoing, but it comes at a time when President Trump has backed the idea of shifting responsibility for disaster response to the states. I wanted to play part of what you said back in May about that, and then we'll talk on the other side.
I am concerned about the FEMA issue. Coming from a small state that is subject to a lot of natural disasters, flooding in most cases, FEMA, my experience with FEMA, has it been flawless? Has it been, a smooth road? No, but I think it's a vital function.
So do you expect FEMA cuts and layoffs and the changes there to impact the recovery efforts in your state, or are they already?
You know, they are not impacting. I think FEMA is on the ground. If not now, they will be shortly. The elected officials, our governor's been there. Congressman Moore's been up there to inspect that. So I think what we have to see here is FEMA has a vital role. There is no doubt about it. As I said in my testimony, a small state cannot handle these devastating occurrences on a regular basis. We don't have the money. We don't have the skill set. We don't have the emergency sort of response that FEMA has. So we need FEMA, but we need it to be that flawless, perfect entity that can help any state in any situation. So I'm a supporter of FEMA, quite frankly, with reforms.
Okay, supporter with reforms. I wanted to ask you quickly, I've been over at the White House where they've been making that push for the big, beautiful bill. You're on Capitol Hill every day. What have your conversations been like about this bill with the White House, and do you think it passes by July 4th?
Well, I think the conversations, we've obviously been working very closely with the House, working very closely with President Trump. He is having individual meetings, as is Vice President Vance, with right now senators that might have deeper concerns and questions. We are marching to the July 4th recess, which means by the end of next week. I believe we will begin voting mid next week. Leader Thune is committed to that, as I am, being a part of his leadership team. We are making some tweaks and changes, as we should, listening to members' concern. And I feel like we're on a very positive path, because we cannot let taxes go up. We need those business tax relief for our small businesses. We need to unleash energy. We need to make sure that President's promises of no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and helping seniors with their taxes, all of these things are good for everyday Americans.
All right, a positive path. We'll keep in touch on that. The senior senator from West Virginia, Senator Shelley Capito. Thank you so much. It's good to see you again.
Thank you, Kelly.